This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth, and yes, you read the title of this video correctly, folks. The Satanic Temple is going to be opening a religious abortion clinic to promote destruction ritual terminations. This is the Satanic Temple in Salem, Massachusetts, and you'll notice a peculiar looking flag at the front of the building here. Here is that flag. TST, of course, stands for the Satanic Temple. And this once art gallery has been turned into a satanic ritual abortion clinic, where they will be performing ritualistic satanic abortions. They even have items including model tiny fetuses meant to represent an evangelical Sunday school and conversion school decorate the tables at this Satanic Temple in Salem. They've included a satanic abortion ritual pamphlet that would explain how you carry out this ritual. And I'll remind you guys that a lot of this stems from a few years back. You'll recall this bombshell report I put out that showed, a leak was showing that Roe v. Wade was going to be overturned very soon, enraging the left who want to kill babies. This was in May of 2022, and then sure enough, a month later, in June of 2022, the United States Supreme Court overturned the landmark 1973 decision Roe v. Wade, eliminating the federal right to abortion. This decision has sparked widespread debate, protests, and legal challenges, with advocates on both sides of the issue continuing to push for their preferred outcomes. Preferred outcomes such as this: the Satanic Temple claiming it's a religious right to have an abortion clinic so they can perform destruction ritual terminations. It's absolutely insane, guys. We're going to cover this and much more in this video. But really quickly, just before we do, guys, I'd ask that you check me out here at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. Here you can do a $5 donation, $10 a month, $20 a month. Whatever is within your means, guys, is very greatly appreciated. I cannot continue to do this work without the support that comes directly from you, the viewers. So if you appreciate my efforts here at Press for Truth, please consider clicking that top link in the description below on whatever video platform you happen to be watching this on, to where you can find me at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Thank you so much to everybody who takes just 1 minute today to support my efforts here at Press for Truth. All right, guys, I remember this one from a year ago. This is coming out from Sky News, where they pointed out how a transgender woman, aka a man, was claiming he wanted to have a womb transplant, essentially so he could be the first trans woman to have an abortion. Check this out.
And I've saved the worst for last. Here is a trans activist desperate to get a uterus transplant, not because they want to give birth, but because they want to get an abortion.
Trans woman to have a successful uterus transplant, ovaries and eggs included, and I want to be the first trans woman to have an abortion.
I remember seeing that and thinking, how twisted and downright satanic, just evil is this? But I mean, that was so last year. Fast forward 1 year and we'll see just how bad this has gotten, as the Satanic Temple is now literally trying to claim a religious right for having destruction ritual terminations at an abortion clinic. The Satanic Temple has announced the opening of a second abortion clinic that it says will offer a religious approach to reproductive rights. The initiative is designed to challenge stringent state abortion bans by framing the procedure as a spiritual necessity. Founded in 2013 and headquartered in Salem, Massachusetts, the Satanic Temple was established in reaction to the intrusion of Christian values on American politics. The new clinic, dubbed the Right to Your Life Satanic Abortion Clinic, is located in Virginia, and it aims to provide free medical abortions via telehealth screenings and appointments to participants who engage in what the temple describes as a destruction ritual. The satanic abortion ritual, which the temple claims is a deeply held religious belief, allows women to receive abortion services while asserting their right to bodily autonomy as a religious practice. And of course, we're going to break down just the absurd hypocrisy in the idea that this is a a right for bodily autonomy, because that's an absolutely insane notion when you consider the other body involved literally has its own separate DNA, it's sometimes its own blood type, its own, unique fingerprints, the whole 9 yards. It's its own unique individual. Here is their abortion ritual program here. This is the pamphlet that describes it all. So let's go over this, just as crazy as it is, but it's important to understand where these people are coming from. The satanic abortion ritual is a destruction ritual that serves as a protective rite. Notice rite is spelled R-I-T-E, as in a religious ceremony. Its purpose is to cast off notions of guilt and shame and mental discomfort that a patient may be experiencing due to choosing to have a legally medically safe abortion. So right off the bat, they're explaining that this is all about getting rid of those feelings of guilt, shame, and mental discomfort. Well, one should ask themselves why they have those feelings in the first place, because what's happening here is human beings inherently know when they're doing wrong. We have a God-given conscience. The 10 Commandments are written on our hearts. When we lie or steal or commit adultery or do these types of things, we know when we are doing wrong. And so when we know we are doing something wrong to the extent of something like murder or killing an innocent life, of course there's going to be feelings of guilt, shame, mental discomfort. This is what the satanic press wants to oppress: your God-given conscience that is telling you you've done something incredibly wrong. Even the most confident and unapologetic individual can experience uncomfortable feelings and anxiety for choosing to terminate their pregnancy. Again, this goes down to the fundamental idea that human beings inherently know when we are doing wrong. It's written on our conscience. Conscience literally means with knowledge that we do things knowing that they are wrong. Laws in many states that impose waiting periods and state-mandated counseling can exacerbate these feelings, as can social condemnation and outright harassment by those who oppose abortion. Misinformation about abortion and guilt for pursuing that option can be a lot to handle. It can be exhausting and frustrating to try to shrug off and dismiss internal and external pressures, especially those driven by religious convictions that disregard the beliefs and freedoms of others. Again, there's a reoccurring theme throughout this pamphlet, that you have to dismiss your internal pressures. Again, do everything you can to suppress your God-given conscience here, that what you are doing is absolutely wrong. Even when one recognizes that these criticisms are invalid, they can make an already troubling time even harder. This ritual is designed to alleviate some of these stressors and empower the patient to be guided by the 3rd and 5th tenets when pursuing their decision. And we'll go over these 3rd and 5th tenets of the Satanic Temple, because they're just about as satanic as it can get. The purpose of this ritual is not to persuade someone to have an abortion if they're undecided. Rather, the ritual serves to assist in affirming that their decision and to ward off the effects of unjust persecution, which can cause one to stray from the paths of scientific reasoning and free will that Satanists strive to embody. This is quite the word salad, because it is completely just. The persecution of, what is happening here. When they say, essentially don't stray from scientific reason, trust the science and the free will that you have. Interesting that they use this term, which, is a concept developed and given to us by God, our creator, and that is free will, that these Satanists strive to embody. So here's the ritual itself. The Satanic Temple's abortion ritual can be formed to address definable concerns or to overcome unproductive feelings. It's unproductive to have your God-given conscience sitting here, grilling you to say, no, do not do this. The ritual, which includes the abortion itself, spans the entirety of the pregnancy termination procedure. There are steps to be performed before, during, and after the medical or surgical abortion. Now, because rituals are deeply personal to those enacting them, there are variations in how it can be performed. The ritual can be personalized based on personal preferences and the availability of materials. There's no need to purchase anything special or to adhere to any and every word. What is essential is the spirit here, and the general intent is what you have to focus on, they say. One can also perform their favorite destruction ritual to target any of the unwanted feelings incited by adversity faced as a consequence of choosing to have an abortion. Again, this reoccurring theme. Feel free to take or leave whatever you wish from this to build it on your own, but before performing the ritual, you may choose to review the safety, the debunked claims, and the scientific reality regarding your abortion. You may also choose to read stories or listen to podcasts about people who made great sacrifices in the struggle to establish reproductive rights that we have today. Yeah, sacrifices is an understatement. These stories can be inspirational and may subdue stigmas you may feel from those who oppose abortion. Now, this is where things get really wild for me. Your ability to choose to terminate a pregnancy is consistent with the ideals of liberty and freedom. Be proud of pursuing what you want for your life, despite opposition. Okay, let's challenge this idea that choosing to terminate pregnancy is consistent with the ideals of liberty and freedom, and you should be proud of those who attempt to, despite, who oppose you. Consider this scenario for a moment. Let's say you're sitting in your backyard, you're having a barbecue, you're having a good time, and out of the corner of your eye, you notice that your neighbor, who is on his own private property, minding his own business, is actually abusing a young child. Let's say it's a 10-month-old baby that is being abused. Now, in the satanic worldview, where there is no God, because in case you didn't know, Satanism doesn't believe in an actual devil or a God. They believe they are essentially this thing we all call God. And so in the satanic worldview, if there is no God, then morality is subjective. It really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if there's no God, there's no judgment. If there's no judgment day, there's ultimately nothing wrong with you wanting to become as bad as someone like Adolf Hitler or try to become as good as someone like Jesus. In the satanic worldview, morality is subjective. Whereas the Christian worldview, the God-fearer, understands that morality is objective and that human beings are created in the image of God, and we have a right to exist as such, unmolested from some outside source. So I would argue that you would have a moral obligation to not only say, hey, what that person is doing over there is wrong, but you would also have a moral obligation to actually hop the fence and go over there and stop what's happening from happening. This isn't oppression. This is standing up for young, innocent lives. Now, I would suggest that, you switch the scenario here, and for the Satanist, if it wasn't a 10-month-old baby that was being abused, but it was like a puppy that was being kicked, well, then they would be like, well, now, my morality is coming into question, and maybe I should go do something. But when it comes to a human life, they take the position that morality is subjective. I would argue that, you're not opposing these people for essentially hopping that fence and doing the right thing. So here's the implements. A quiet space where you can feel comfortable. Something that allows you to see your reflection and imagine yourself. A copy of the Satanic Temple's 3rd and 5th tenets and personal affirmations. So what is that? Here's what you have to say in the ritual. Tenet number 3. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Me, my, mine, me, I am number 1. Tenet number 5, beliefs should conform to one's scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's belief. And finally, the personal affirmation, which is just about as satanic as it gets. By my body, my blood, but my will, it is done. Again, this is the personal affirmation they are suggesting to someone to have after they have a ritualistic sacrifice of their baby. I'll remind you, these are very similar to the words that Jesus spoke. Obviously, you know, when God sent down his son, he became a man and he died for the sins of the world. He sat there at the Last Supper telling his disciples this was going to happen to him. And when you take, you know, the bread, for example, that symbolizes his body and you eat it, do so in remembrance of me. Remember what I'm about to do for you, for the sins of the world. Similarly, in this ritualistic way that they are twisting, he said, when you take this wine, know that my blood is being spilt out for you, for the sins of the world. And when you drink it, do so in remembrance of me. And this is how the Satanists have twisted this by saying, my body, my blood, my will is done. You see, when the disciples once asked Jesus, how should we pray? He gave them an example through the prayer of the Our Father. You know, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Not my will, your will be done. So again, here the Satanists do what Satanists do. They completely twist everything around. My body, my blood, my will be done. So here's the procedures for medical and for surgical. They're both essentially the same. So I'll just pick one of them and we'll read it. Prior to receiving any anesthetic or sedation, look at your reflection or imagine yourself to be reminded of your personhood and your responsibility to yourself. Again, in Satanism, you always got to look out for number one. That's the most important thing. Focus on your intent. Take deep breaths and make yourself comfortable. When you are ready, say the third tenet and the fifth tenet out loud. You may now undergo the surgery. After the surgery is completed and any anesthetic is worn off, return to your reflection and then recite your personal affirmation. Feel doubts dissipating and your confidence growing as you have just undertaken a decision that affirms your autonomy and free will. The religious abortion ritual is now complete. Wow. This is, again, quite the escalation in you know, just the acceptance of Satanism around the world. It's absolutely mind-boggling that we're to this point, but here we are. They literally have a physical building set up and ready to go so these Satanists can perform ritualistic killings of their babies. Absolutely shocking and insane, but it's very, very real, guys. So just wanted to bring to your attention that this is, in fact, happening. Absolutely crazy indeed. Again, it all stems from, you know, the United States doing the right thing here and undoing Roe v. Wade, and trying to get this world back on track to where it needs to be. But the Satanic Church is doing everything it can now to claim that abortion is a religious right, so that they could have ritualistic destruction termination ceremonies. Absolutely insane, guys. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to bring you this type of information, don't forget to check me out at subscribestar.com/pressfortruth. Once again, I cannot continue to do this work without support that comes directly from you, the viewers. So if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this type of info, please take one moment today, click that top link in the description below wherever you're watching this. Maybe it's on Rumble or on BitChute or on my old backup YouTube channel or on Band or Minds or Hive or all the platforms that I post on. Wherever you might be watching this on, just check the link in the description to where you can find me at Subscribestar. Thank you so much to everybody who does take 2 minutes today to do that. Again, I can't do this work without you. So that's all for today, guys. Just wanted to bring this crazy story to your attention. Please don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon, God willing. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.